Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine. The time to say yes to your dreams and aspirations is here.
Which advertising practitioner, just one, has impacted your life the most and why?
That can also be a very subjective thing, but I'll not hesitate to mention one out of several, but because you're limiting me to one. Dr. Shobanjo has done a great deal for our industry. First, as an icon who has turned what is the idea and business of creativity into the business of a great enterprise. I think to that extent, it remains a great icon, motivator, inspiration for, at least for me, as far as I'm concerned. Beyond that is also the fact that from a sustainability and what I call a presence point of view, he's done that very, very, very well. I mean, I was talking about succession earlier on. I think it's somebody who has succeeded in doing that despite all the challenges that we face as an industry, is somebody who continues to innovate, design new ways of making progress and moving ahead. So Dr. Shobanjo represent that very well for me. But like I also said, there are scores of others who have done different things in different areas, who continue to be very strong icons and leaders in the marketing communication industry.
Interesting. Now, which was the first copy ever that you wrote?
It was a copy for Isuzu Trooper.
Okay.
And I remember where that came from. It was actually given to us as a test. And that copy, I remember the headline even till today.
Tell us the headline.
It says a rover within your range.
Okay.
A rover within your range. And It was for a Isuzu Trooper. Now, here was the thing. Isuzu had gone to deliberately try and ape all, this was many years ago. I mean, it's not a recent thing. Had gone to try and ape all the features and benefits of what's contained in the Range Rover. And, so that title saying a rover within your range is supposed to stop you in your tracks, and you have the image of Isuzu Trooper there. For me, that was great inspiration, and that was a copy that, that I came to like very much.
Interesting. Spunky Pearl, I see you. Thank you very much. Now, which is the most recent copy that you have written? The most recent that you have written?
So that's a very difficult one, because what I find myself doing is that almost on a daily basis you continue to write, because it never really leaves you. Here's the other thing. I wasn't just a writer when I was in journalism. I was also a sub-editor. So as a sub-editor, so somebody who studied English, and I trained under one of the best, his name is Azuh, then the sub-editor. Instinctively, I find myself always critiquing copy, always critiquing write-ups. And it's done very well for me, because what I find is that what people take for granted, I do not take it for granted. So I'll be honest, it's quite difficult for me to talk about which copy have I written, because it's a continuous process. I find myself doing it all the time. I have to be very, very self-conscious about it. while I'm dealing with other writers, so that you do not become so overbearing, such that they are not able to express themselves. Or when they know that, oh, well, it's going to end up on his desk, I always give his view about it, that kind of thing. So I try to take myself out of the fray, and I only try to do it from behind after they've made their own attempts. I only just try to do it better. So in that way, I'm not fighting for an apple on my shoulder anymore. I'm not fighting to control with up and coming writers and all of that. But I can help to, to brush them up and to basically be a very good sounding board for whatever it is that they are doing. That's what I do mostly these days.
Interesting. Now, which is the best copy that you've ever come across since you came into the profession? Not necessarily written by you, but you've come across. Which copy has dazzled you the most?
Well, I think there are many, to be honest with you. I think there are many. And for me, I always like to keep this real and grounded and look for something from within our own environment. To be honest with you, that's not comes readily to mind, but there are quite a lot, there are quite a lot that I can talk about, especially kind of the feel goodness that comes with that. This is not to say it's let me think about this. Maybe to come to me, but there are so many good copies I've gone and seen over the course of the years that I can talk about campaigns, not just copy. I can talk about campaigns. For me, one of the most unique that I think is Evergreen, which I'm sure you remember is the Super Visco ad, the one that advertises the Super Visco oil for AP. Do you remember that? The one that says,
Yes, I do.
So when you see commercials like that, you just break into a smile because it's timeless. It's just absolutely timeless. So there are many. There are many. Might not
All
come to me.
right. All right. All right. Now, to write a good copy, what must one do?
To write a good copy, it's about focus, brevity, discipline of content. What I mean by that is still goes back to brevity, what to bring in, what to leave out. And of course, very, very good headline, because the headline is where you start from. The headline is what arrests attention. In fact, what we found increasingly over time is that in many situations, people just stay with the headline and they don't bother to read the body copy. So a lot goes into
Interesting.
the headline. So a very good headline, it will always give you a good standing.
All right. So, what arrests you as a person in a headline, in a copy?
I,
What
I
arrests you in a copy?
I think apart from the brevity, the imagination, how creatively imaginative it is, how it can transport you from where you are to something that is almost surreal. I think that's what's always very important. There are people who write smart headlines that sometimes when you dig deep, you see that doesn't have any meaning. So an headline that has meaning, an headline that has import, an headline that is brief, an headline that says, if you like, 50-60% of the message, even in that headline, without you needing to read the copy. For me, that's
Interesting.
what the headline is.
Interesting. So, what puts you off in a copy?
When the copy is verbose, when it's too long, when it doesn't bear the right relevance of the context of what they're trying to do, you just get put off. When, again, you do not do your research, which means that, like all advertising is expected to be, if it's not truthful, if it's not open, if it's not, doesn't drive for the benefit of the product, either directly or indirectly, if it does not imaginatively set you on the path to say, it's a good product or service or brand, then, it's not a good copy, pure and simple. There are many times when we are tempted to write copies that entertain, all right? When we write copies that sound well, that's malapropism. When they entertain, they just entertain for its sake, because that's what we call art for art's sake. But when you have a copy that resonates with the person that's supposed to take a decision, then that's good copy. And that's a copy that makes you happy. Like we always say, when it makes the cash register to ring, then that's good copy.
Interesting. I need you to tell us briefly what pitching means. I mean, oftentimes we get to hear about advertising practitioners saying they are going for pitch or they're going for pitching and stuff. Briefly, what exactly does pitching mean?
Pitching is basically the contest of competitive ideas to take a brand or product or service forward. When you have more than one agency or organization competing to win that account. So basically it's a contest of ideas. So naturally what should happen is that the agency with the best concept, with the best creative idea, with the best executional idea, all mixed together, should typically win the pitch. Based on the judgment of those who are involved. That's the pitch, yes.
All right.
So you
now
make your pitch.
Okay. All right. Now you've been into advertising now for decades. What would you say has kept you going?
Interest, passion. I'll say again for me relevance. But what it's done is also that it's brought a lot of attention my way. It's brought a lot of opportunities my way. Because of what I do, I've been able to rub shoulders with what you call the high and mighty. Because of what I do, I've been able to get to the trenches and roll up my sleeves with the masses at the lower end of the spectrum. So it keeps me grounded. That's what I like about it. It's also that versatility, because frankly, as an advertising person, we are supposed to be able to deal and sell any subject under the sun. And I believe that I'm one of the few privileged people that have sold almost every kind of thing that's possible to be sold as far as advertising is concerned. Everything from selling from selling condoms to selling things that are tangible to things that are not tangible, to selling pampers, to selling alcoholic beverages, to selling soft drinks, to selling vehicles, to selling banks, to selling services, everything. So
All right.
that basically challenges you to think and to be a lot more strategic than your narrative will be, broadening your knowledge in that process.
Well, what is the greatest thing that advertising has done for you?
I think for me is the opportunity to broaden my knowledge and my horizon. Again, I don't think it's very peculiar, but I've done so very many travels because of advertising. So what I consider as my hobbies have also been honed in that respect. I've done a lot of travels locally, nationally in Nigeria. A lot of travels also globally because of my advertising sojourn. So for me, that is very instructive. That it's taking you far or wide. It's not something that I can easily forget, because that in itself has also birthed other things, and frankly has also solidified other things for me. Like I said, for instance, my love for travel, meeting people, doing things like photography, the kind of leisure that I've taken up. I think it has helped to do that. The other thing, of course, is the fact that the social currency that you need, advertising helps to facilitate that, because you always need to meet with people to converse for attention, to converse a particular point of business view. So you need to be strong with your interpersonal skills, your negotiation skills, your ability to be diplomatic under very tense conditions. That's what advertising has done for me. I've met very, very difficult clients who, first and foremost, I just accept that they're clients, and it's my responsibility to make sure that I extract what needs to be extracted from them. and that does not necessarily make me docile or subservient. And so once I operate from that view, if I'm not subservient to you, I will respect you, I will respect your views, but there's also a line that you do not cross, even as a client. So you are firm about these things, but you still get what you want at the end of the day, because my intention is not to make an enemy of anybody. My intention is to make sure that I sell what needs to be sold, and that you are also happy with whatever transaction you're having with me. So I'm always looking for win-win, and that has tempered the way that I deal with situations and deal with things. I always say it is what it is, and because of that, I'm also always prepared for any eventuality. So there's nothing that I do that I don't have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, and that's where I'm wired. I'm not likely to be somebody that gives up my hand in this aspiration because something has happened. I'm always saying, okay, so what's the next best thing? Because like acting a play, anything can go wrong with your memory of your scripts. So how do you improvise? That I think for me is what advertising has taught me over the years.
All right, we have just about 5 more minutes to go, so I'll try and see if I can funnel 2 more minutes into those 5 minutes. What would you have wanted advertising to do for you that it hasn't done yet?
I'm not too sure that it's fair to say there's anything that has not been done. It's because of advertising. I honestly don't think so. But conversely, I've also always wished that advertising is accorded greater respect within the business circle. I always feel that very strongly. So it's not something personal. It is something that has to do with our industry more or less.
All right. Now, most people consider, most players in your sector, to be flamboyant. What is your take on that? How do you see that?
Well, to be honest with you, I think that's the way it was in those days. I'm not sure that it's not like that anymore. I've heard that said in those days, and it's really because, again, there's a very you can't sell what you can't buy, all right? And so we are selling how to also look the part. So for me, that's my understanding of why people who are into advertising are very sure-footed, they are very self-confident. They come from a background where when they do their homework, they're able to navigate almost anything, almost any discussion, and be able to propagate any parameters. So I don't think it's going to set out to be flamboyant. Let's qualify flamboyant. Flamboyant would be it would be that you dress in a way to impress. You dress in a way to attract attention. I don't think it's that. I think it's something that just comes as a natural correlation of what we do and who we are. Now, again, that has changed over time because, number one, we've had more incursion of people who also are not original advertising people. So people who are in business, people who are in creative arts, the way they dress is different, the way they conduct themselves is different. So there's been quite a bit of dilution. But yes, the original core advertising people are always very, very savvy when it comes to things like their sartorial elegance and how they carry themselves and how they comport themselves. I mean, there's no other way it can be. Don't forget that there was a whole generation of advertising practitioners who were in broadcasting. And these were people who speak English and you want to eat the word that they are saying. So the same thing they carried. So they were the stars then. I mean, but you remember people like Uncle Kehinde Adeosun of Homo when you had people like Kevin Amechi, people like Ron Mbatogu, even people like Mr. Shobanjo, people like Sir Steve Omojafo. All of these people came from broadcasting, and they had tremendous presence in the broadcast world before they came into advertising. So that superstar image, when they bring it to advertising, becomes doubly so. So it's not something that you can just switch away. So I think that was actually the foundation for all of this thing that people are saying about being flamboyant.
Interesting. So, Uncle TJ, it's on that note that I'd like to bring this session to a close. Thank you so very much for your time, for your thoughts, and everything. I'm very, very grateful. And to all those who made our time to join us this evening, thank you very, very much.